Hi there, this is Bob Eubanks, and you're listening to Fab4Free4All. But doesn't everybody?
Giles, the thing about the tapes, it said that you found the 3-track masters. Now, I always was the impression that Abbey Road's copy was of the Capitol copy, but that when they made the record, when your dad made the record, that they used the Capitol masters. Can you explain the history of that?
To be honest with you, I don't know. Here we are. There's the thing, is that starting the interview off with a lack of knowledge is always a good thing. All I know is that I worked on the Hollywood Bowl, some of the Hollywood Bowl tapes, when I worked on the Love Show. I incorporated a bit of that into the Love Show, but I mixed it together with live tracks. And said they'd found some tapes, or they had some tapes in the library, they sounded better. So that with a combination of, I've been working with this new technology, this demix technology, trying to get screams off. Well, actually, originally it was for turning monos into stereos with a guy here. And we started playing around with Hollywood Bowl tapes. So my father could have used the same tapes or not used the same tapes. The fact of the matter is that one batch of tapes I had sounded better than the others. And I don't know which one they used, but I know that the end result we have sounds better than the record they did in 1977.
But your dad took 3 tracks and mixed it into 16, and I doubt you were using vacuum blowers to cool the overheating machines at this...
I don't think he mixed them into 16. I think he transferred them to a 16-track tape machine.
Ah, okay.
He did mix them to 16. He's even better than I thought he was.
A 3-track machine wasn't the normal use back then.
It's funny if you say that. 3-track machine at Capitol was used quite a lot. I mean, Frank Sinatra's recording were all 3-track. They often use 3-track for stereo orchestra and single. In England, we never used them, or didn't use them at all. So, hardly at all. So yeah, there was quite a lot of 3-track recordings going on in the US at that time.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps even earlier.
Sometimes is there a struggle with legacy versus new technology, especially for you, knowing that your dad did all of these things back then?
No, not really. Short answer. Listen, legacy is about enjoying music. That's what legacy is about. My first project with the Beatles, really, which I drove, was really the Love Project, and that was him as anti-legacy, if you like. At the same time, it certainly got the approval of the Beatles and the approval of my father. I think if you can make something better, I knew my dad pretty much better than anyone else did. I was his ears, I worked for him and with him, and I know he wasn't happy with Hollywood Bowl, so you could say the legacy of Hollywood Bowl is the fact that the person who worked on it wasn't happy with it. And I think the version we've done is far superior, and I think he would have thought the same, actually. When I said, Dad, I'm going to work on Hollywood Bowl, he's like, oh, God. His reaction wasn't, that marvelous. So a lot of people say, are you worried about the legacy of things? And my respect is for the music and for the band. And also to bring new generations towards that. I mean, let's face it, there's very few things in life that make you happy and are still good for you.
Yeah.
Left.
No, you're right. Believe me.
And the Beatles are that.
Well, I've always said that the Beatles have, the music has always helped me through bad times and created many good times, so I guess that's the same thing.
Yeah, and the same with, with the work we did in number ones last year. Again, it's what's funny, what's interesting is that the legions of fans and the crusty fans, the people who've been around for a long time and collect records.
That's us.
They've now switched on to approach me and going, when are you going to do a stereo mix of this? Or when are you going to do this mix? Opposed to, we're going to kneecap you for touching the records. Funny how it's shifted.
So the press release says, that this album, the new release, references the original album, but it's an entirely new release. So I have a question, though, as a Beatle geek, so to speak, and lovingly I say that, and I'm sure you're a Beatle fan too, obviously. Was there any thought to giving us full shows? Because CDs can fit a full 64 and a full 65 show.
This is a very good question, and as a Beatle geek, I can imagine you asking this question and being hugely disappointed in the fact we didn't do this. My role in life is to disappoint. But you know what? Here's the thing, is that I believe, my father believed, and I know that John and George did, and as did Ringo and Paul, that quality is the key here.
Right.
And Beatle geeks, which I have a huge respect for and time for, and I try and appease as much as I can, want everything. They want everything all the time.
Yes, we do.
It's a collection. Now, we don't believe that music is there to be collected. We believe that music is there to be listened to and enjoyed. And so for having something for the sake of having it is, you can stream it off YouTube. You want to listen to the 65 or 64 concert? I don't even know. With the microphones not working?
Part of 65, yeah.
Yeah.
The 65, there'll be a lot of people shouting their radios because saying, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I don't right now. But the fact of the matter is that it's not worth selling to people. It just isn't, it's not worth selling. You're selling something that's not of the right quality. And I think that's the key. We're not into selling history. We're into making people enjoy music.
Right.
And so if that answers your question, and it's funny, I started working at Hollywood Bowl as an experiment to seeing what we could do with live tracks and seeing whether we could improve them. And I chose the best tracks from Hollywood Bowl, and they turned out to be the same tracks my dad chose, plus 4 extras, which I thought were, maybe I'm not as discerning as he is, I don't know. And that's really what happened. And then played them to Ringo and Paul, and they were happy, and this is the way it works. Things like, I thought about I'm Down, sounds really good, apart from there's a mistake in it. There's a mistake where the band sort of go out of time, 2/3 through the song. They skip a beat, the drums and guitars, they're kind of weird, because Ringo couldn't hear them.
Right.
And you just think, I know that George would hate that, and you just have to respect that. You have to respect their wishes. Do I want to put this on because I like the vocal sound, or is it about the band's performance? And are we trying to, I had to respect what they would have done,
right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, but John always forgot the lyrics, so, we'd have trouble with any kind of release if that was the case, right?
He didn't help.
I don't think he ever did the help correctly the whole way through.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, the irony of that is he always said it was his favorite lyric.
Exactly.
Giles, we noticed that the order of the tracks and even the edits are the same as your dad's. There was some bits that were taken out for, I'm not sure the reason. Was that the process? You were going to follow everything your dad edited, or was there thoughts that maybe you could have added other things, or was there outside influences, so to speak, that stopped it?
You make it sound so mysterious and so collusional. No, there wasn't outside influences. No, I chose the same tracks as my dad, and then actually it was sometime when we first went to master it, I noticed that there were these edits in the original.
Right.
And I went back and researched the edits. I didn't really pay much attention to the original, funny enough. And then I realized actually they were good edits, and they made sense.
Okay.
I repeated them for that reason, actually. I just thought, am I doing something... Here's the question. You always go, am I doing something... I don't want to do something new just for the sake of doing it.
Right.
That's always my... but at the same time, I always want to do something so it sounds good and so the listener enjoys it. In that case, the reason why the edits were there, I think... Help is one. Show them what the edits are.
I was talking more of the, like the intros, like to the song Boys. It starts off with Paul saying, and now sing a song about boys, Ringo. But Paul talks for about 20 seconds before that, and your dad had originally cut it out. I was wondering why. As a person who originally, the first bootleg I ever got was Beatles with the Hollywood Bowl. So... Yeah,
for the same reasons, so it makes sense as listening to live music. That's what you do when you do a live album. You don't have 20 seconds of talking.
Right.
Here's the thing is, and this is going to really upset. This is a Beatles program, but you made these decisions based on someone listening to as a thing that is long lasting and as a record that flows, and that's why we do something like that.
Right.
The introductions are fun, and you could say they're valid, and I guess that the Beatles fans are going, well, why don't you give us everything? I think that I respected my father was the Beatles producer. I'm just a mere upstart. I'm not even a young upstart anymore. I'm just an upstart, full stop. And you have to respect those decisions to be made on an album for me. So and I know what you mean, because I love that sort of stuff. At the same time, it has to flow as a record. Because
the intros on like BBC all work, and they did separate banding tracks for like little talking. So it does interest everybody, but we see where you're coming from. So question about the bonus tracks. You said there's 4, obviously there are. We've heard them. They're really good. Was there any thought of maybe inserting them into the original concert? Because, obviously they don't flow as well after Paul says this is our last song, and then the 4 come in. And the other part of that is, you had to remix those where Babies in Black was already remixed 20 years ago. How did that process go?
Well, we remixed everything, actually. We remixed it to see what will work. we're pretty diligent and ambitious. We try everything. We remixed all concerts. We looked at all concerts and chose the best. It's a bit like dusting off a piece of furniture. Not quite sure how valuable it is until you remove the grime from something. And so we do that anyway. I think that essentially this is a remix reissue. So therefore, I wanted to keep the integrity of the original choices made. You have to understand that Hollywood Bowl was made at a time where John and George were both alive. And so they would have heard it. And it's different. It's like, would Beatles fans, if we were ever to approach Sgt. Pepper, would Beatles fans want there to be Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields on Sgt. Pepper?
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In which case, where would you put them?
That's very true.
End of side one, beginning of side two.
If we ever have to do it, we can do a phone-in.
Oh, please, yeah, we'll help you out on that.
Yeah, so I think, and I completely understand what you're saying, but they are bonus tracks because this album's been released before, and I think I'm always wary for one, and this isn't, my trousers aren't big enough to be able to make these decisions, but I'm always wary of selling something as new that's been out before. And the Beatles Hollywood Bowl album has been out before, and my concern is if we change the order of stuff, if we go, the all new, it'll be, this is a new album. And it's a new mixed version of Hollywood Bowl. And I think to keep that integrity is good, and I completely understand what you're saying with this, but look, on the advantage of the way people listen to music now, they can fit in any order they want.
Yeah, well, that was another question, though, real quick. The mixing of this, do you mix for digital? Because if you're listening on a USB, it's weird because some of the intros are on one song and then they continue on the next song, but obviously if it's a CD, it won't matter because you'll just keep hearing it. But if you're doing a random sequence, it's kind of odd for a live album.
Yeah, I should check that with the mastering.
Oh, sorry. Like even with track 2 and 3 with She's a Woman, it's got the first part of the intro to Dizzy Miss Lizzy, and then 3 comes on and says we're going to play a song called Dizzy Miss Lizzy. It happens a couple of times, so it's kind of odd if you're doing a random play.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Two-part question. First of all,
and then we'll let you run.
Are your dad's liner notes part of the package?
Yes, absolutely. And that goes back to the original intent from what we're trying to do here. Because he was as I say, he was the Beatles producer, and I try and do a lot of this work in his spirit.
Okay, my second question, your sister is named Lucy, right?
My sister is named Lucy.
Okay, just making sure. Now, in the liner notes, she's called out as being a Bay City Rollers fan. I want to know, does she get a reprise to talk about how her dad embarrassed her as a Bay City Rollers fan?
Actually, it's funny, I was with her yesterday. Lucy's now 49 years old.
Wow.
You may have said that already. Yeah, I know, this is the way. And so we were, it's one of those things that here's the bizarre thing is we live our lives day to day, and I don't think she's even aware that we're releasing Hollywood Bowl.
Wow.
I'm very close to her. So no, I think she's about to live a whole world of embarrassment again. I think that maybe it's only apt that I start my apologies now.
Well, we know your time is limited. We appreciate it so much, the time you've given. And we really, the album sounds great, real clear. We can't wait to, have it in our hands. We've only heard it digitally. So we absolutely love the movie. We appreciate your work on that as well. And we look forward to, hopefully, when you come to New York, sharing a pint with you or two.
Yeah, I'd love that. I mean, Mitch and Bob, thank you so much, and thank you for your unbridled enthusiasm and praise. I mean, it's been live Beatles is challenging but incredibly fun to do, and I'm so pleased that you enjoyed it.
Giles, just one more thing. The first Beatles album I ever bought was Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl, so I'm so glad this is coming out on CD. So,
and we're doing a vinyl as well.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that one I have to have because as old people now, I need the booklet in bigger form, so...
Yeah, I'm getting there as well. I'm in Braille soon.
All right, well, we'll let you go. We appreciate your time, Giles. You have a great day.
Thank you, Giles.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care.
Fab4Free4All was edited and produced by Tony Traguardo at Word of Mouth Studios in Westbury, New York. The opening and closing theme is Not Alone by Barry Waller. Be sure to visit our website at www.fab4free4all.com.